Hi, Morgan from Young People Cornwall again. I think this is the 5th video now. So last week we looked at areas of our life and tried to find values within those areas. So what we're going to look at today is, well, what do we do with them? What do we do about that? What does any of that mean? Okay, and how's it going to affect my mood? So, just a recap of the areas that we looked at. So, underneath me, there was, can you remember? Have you got it written down? Hobbies and fun. Physical health. And looking after myself. Under the things that matter, we had education and work, the bigger picture, and everyday stuff. And then the last one, which was all about the people that matter, we're thinking about our values around family, friends, and important others. So what does it mean now that we found these values and we've worked them out? Well, the idea with behavioural activation, if you remember the vicious cycle of depression, if we start doing things that matter, then we should start to feel better, ultimately. So what does that mean then? So if we think of one of my examples that I use, one of my hobbies and interests that I valued was photography. So is it just that I simply just go out and do photography? Well, no, because there's lots of things that could get in the way of that and maybe make it not as good as it could be. And we've got to remember this is important to us, not to anybody else. So the first thing we say is, right, this is my value. What would it look like if I was achieving it? So for me, with photography, I particularly enjoy landscape photography, and I like sunsets and silhouettes and stuff like that. So we say, right, well, okay, if I know that I am satisfying that area of my life, what would I be doing? Would I be out taking photographs of sunsets and all those sort of areas of nature and stuff that I quite enjoy taking photos of? But in terms of getting the motivation to do that, you know, if you're feeling low, struggling with depression, it's not going to be as simple as, well, just go out and start taking photos again because you said you enjoy it. You know, it doesn't work like that. So we need to think, well, how do we break that down into small manageable chunks so we can do it? So, you know, we'd be asking questions like, well, what's the first thing you need to do with photography? Well, have you got a camera? You know, do you know where it is? I do. Look. There's mine in there. Okay, so we've got a camera. Well, that's fine. We'll go out and take a photo. Well, hold on a minute. I'm feeling a bit low and I'm struggling, but anyway. Right, well, I'll try and just go, well, hold on a minute, what if the battery's flat? So you might have, you know, so already, if you weren't feeling good and you've gone, well, I'll just go out and take photos, and then you realise your battery's flat, how are you going to feel then? Right? So we break down this value, this area of our life, into small manageable chunks. So we find the camera, you know, that's first things first. And if you're struggling and spending a lot of time in your room and not doing a lot, you might find that difficult enough to start with. So I've got the camera, I know where it is. Is it ready to go? You know, is the battery charged? Do I have any memory on my memory card? Do I even have a memory card? Can I remember how to use it? If you've not done it for a while, you know, you might need to refresh your knowledge of the camera and the settings and whatnot. Do I know exactly what I want to go and take a picture of? If not, then maybe I could use the internet to inspire me, give me some ideas. Do I have a day where I can go out? Do I need to have somebody with me when I go out? You know, if you're not very old, or you prefer to have somebody with you anyway, maybe these are things that need addressing. So we do that bit by bit, step by step. So it might be your first job for the first day is to find the camera. Okay, job done. Obviously I'm using that as an example of my value, but I'll give you a couple more examples in a minute. Then what? Well, the next day, make sure it's charged up, ready to go. So you see, we're doing it in small bite-sized chunks rather than just go straight out, you know. So we've done that. Right, well, while the battery's charging, perhaps I can go on YouTube or Google and whatnot and look at some images to inspire me for what I'd like to do. Or maybe I need to research how to use long exposure, for example, and aperture and how those things work on the camera. Just refresh my knowledge. And then once I've gone through all these little steps, then the only step left is to go out and take the photos. So if we think of that now for some of your values, I mean, maybe like your physical health, maybe you like playing football or netball or team sports, rugby. So the first thing we'd say is, well, if you've been struggling with mood and motivation, you probably haven't been playing these sports for a while. So have you got any kit? And if you have, where is it? So maybe you need to do that first. You know, have you got any trainers? Are they clean? Have you got shorts, t-shirt, whatever you would wear? Do you have a club that you can go to? Do you know when they train? Do you have any friends that go? So all these little things to break it down. And obviously I understand that, you know, the current situation with Corona, obviously we can't go out and just play in team sports like we might have done. But that doesn't mean that you can't work towards certain areas. For example, if you're into your sports, maybe there is some strength and conditioning routines you can do at home to get you stronger, faster and fitter. So we would say, right, well, firstly, have you got the kit? Secondly, have you got the space to do it? Have you got someone there that could do it with you, maybe to spur you on? Do you know what routine you could do? You know, all these little things that you can break down to find out how you can best access that value of yours. So I hope that makes sense to you. And the same with like other people. What do you want to do with your family? What would being a good mate look like? How would you know that you were being a good mate? So you might say to yourself, well, I'd ring up my friend and ask them how they were. Well, okay. Have you got any credit? Have you got their number? Is it worth sending them a message first to see if they're available? All these little step by step, breaking everything down. And you can't break it down into small enough chunks, you know. You'll know how you feel. You'll know whether you can do it or not. So ultimately, what have we talked about today? So we've got the values. We know what's important to us. Then we need to know what we would be doing to satisfy those values. Then we're going to break down that into small manageable chunks, and we'll do a small task each day until we find ourselves doing what it is that we want to do. I hope that makes sense anyway. Obviously any feedback is welcome on the Young People Cornwall Facebook page. And if you need any further support, there's plenty of people on there that you can ask to help. You might comment on it, I'll see it, I'll see the comments. If there's any questions around behavioural activation, we'll probably have a recap in the next video, and then we'll start looking at another area of support that low intensity CBT offers. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you.